The ruined keep stands battered in the storm, rain lashing at the ancient stones, and winds whistling through the gaping holes. Beneath the keep, waves crash against rocks at the base of a cliff, and out at sea, fishing folk battle against the storm to bring in their catch. Warships lashed to the pier of Trillon creak and groan against the wooden structure, their sails stowed away, and their goods secured safely in a nearby warehouse. A long way south, the party stand in the rain, beneath a jungle canopy, feet sloshing in the mud as Princess Mayanara stands over the hulking, kneeling figure of an Astravi. Gathered around you are 50 of these beasts, their huge bat-like wings folded against their sides, heads bowed, eyes shut, all 6 arms crossed, their white blades outwards in a crisscross pattern and talons raised. The princess stands in an expensive but now tattered blue silk dress with white lace trim, and nothing else. Her blue eyes blaze with an unnatural light, and she appears to be holding a silent conversation with Starok, the leader of the Astravi. Harathir stands close by, looming over the princess, his direwolf companions slumped in the mud, looking bedraggled and grumpy. Zaymar is strategically placed near one of her chests, and a raccoon, Alithia, sits on his shoulder. Adalbert and his bodyguard Baha stand further back, Adalbert having just finished a tense conversation with the leader Stravi, and now seeing that there is more to Starok than he originally thought. And that's where we'll pick up. You want to unmute yourself, Mads?
So where we were last time, we had to stop, but like I've been going like at Starok because I hate Starok.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And I've been growling, and I've picked up a rock, and I'm going to chuck it at him.
Okay, roll to hit. So you must have jumped down from Zaymar to pick up the rock.
Yeah, she's down by my feet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Zaymar's much relieved at that.
Yeah, I was down by his feet, remember? Because we were having a conversation. So I picked up a rock, and it was 18. And do I get anything for? No, I don't think I get anything for a rock.
No. we went through this last session. Raccoons aren't the greatest, but that's a good strike, and you do indeed ping him on the shoulder. The rock goes dunk and flies off. He's got a pretty thick hide, but he raises his head and he looks at the raccoon, and then he bows his head again.
Bows his head?
Yeah, he's currently kneeling in front of the princess with his head down. She's kind of bent over, slightly looking down at him, and they seem to be having this silent conversation. You all know by now.
I'm going to bite his ankle, and I know he's smelly, but I'm going to bite his ankle.
Okay.
Zaymar says, Alithia, maybe he didn't quite. I mean, he seems to be having a conversation with the. Oh my goodness!
If I see this, I'm going to try and pick up the raccoon that's running away from me.
Okay, roll grapple.
Attack of opportunity, surely.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys so harsh.
I'm just trying to have a little nibble of this massively powerful Astravi when he's talking to an even more powerful Astravi. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, so it's against me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Adalbert, you'll need to roll strength. It's an athletics check.
Strength.
With strength. And Alithia, you can either dodge, so you can basically roll a athletics with dexterity or with strength. Up to you.
Dexterity. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good as well.
18.
18.
Well done.
Oh, it's 18 too for me.
Oh my goodness. What happens
now?
Wait,
no. It says plus 12 acrobatics for racial modifiers on roll 20.
I was about to say, I do remember the plus 12 from last
time. Yeah.
We're back to
So
the
that
superhero
actually brings me up
raccoon
to
again.
28.
Yeah, so raccoons are extremely squirrely, and and Alithia is very hard to get hold of. Raccoons can kind of weave and dodge very quickly, so you're just grasping at air, and she goes past you easily, and then starts nipping at Starrick. Starrick is kind of
it's not
busy.
a nip. It's a full-on hack at his ankle.
Are you rolling to hit?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, that is... Hold on, it's cocked. Oh, fuck's sake. This dice is too big. Oh, I'm rolling like fire tonight. It's a 19. Yeah.
Okay. So as I mentioned, his leathery hide is extremely thick. So most of the armor class is due to the strength of that hide. But you've got pretty good teeth, so you give it a good nip.
1d4.
You see what one of the arms. So all the arms are crossed like this, all 6 of them, and you see one of them quiver like he would have swatted, but he's holding back.
It's a 1d4. It's a 1d4.
Okay, 1d4
Do I
damage.
take? Can I take?
Yeah, you can roll damage. Yeah,
That's a 2.
2.
Dangerous D4 strikes again.
2 points of damage. Poor Starrick. Almost dead.
Piercing damage.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything while the raccoon bites?
Zamar's
Starrick?
backing gently into the jungle. Yeah, he's just melting back into the jungle, hoping nobody saw that raccoon was on him previously.
Rathi's just shaking his head slightly, a disgusted look on his face.
And can I message Ellie at this point? For goodness sake, Ellie, not now.
Marek. He's awful. He's corrupted. God knows what he's planning with that awful princess.
The princess looks over at you briefly. So she's standing over Starrick, and I guess that means that you're directly in her line of sight as she's looking down. And you can see like a quiver of a as she tries to stop laughing, a twitch on the lips. Her eyes have actually calmed down quite a lot. They're now just a gentle blue glow, and she's having this intense conversation with Starrick. And then, as if something had been agreed, she nods and almost instinctively, like a normal human would, and she starts straightening up and floating, heading towards the back of Starrick.
Anyone feel like telling me what the fuck's going on?
Zamar raises a finger and is about to say something, but thinks better of it.
And now you can see some other Astravi at the back are getting up from their kneeling position and heading over to the princess's chests.
Well, I guess we don't have to cart these out of here now. We'll get a ride back.
You said there were 50 of these guys.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe.
They don't have the harnesses. I do remember it's extremely uncomfortable trying to ride on an Astravi that doesn't have a harness. I'll start looking around to see if there's...
If you'd like, Zamar, you're welcome to walk.
Do I see Rigor around?
Roll perception.
Oh, it's my perception, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh, that's not so great. 18.
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively easy to sort of scan over and have a look. Towards the back, you can see Rigor and some of the other Astravi that you might have probably similar to the ones that you've met before. It's hard to tell. They all look very similar, but...
Can I go up to Rigor?
You'd have to kind of weave your way through essentially a small army of... They were kneeling, but they're now all standing up, and while they're not being aggressive, as they stand up, their arms are unfolding, and so all these blades are like going whoosh past you.
Okay, fine.
But you can do
Yeah,
it.
let's not do that.
You're tiny. I mean, you're on the ground, so you should be all right.
How long will it take me to go to Rigor and then come back?
Oh, very quick. There's not much distance to cover.
Yeah, I want to go to Rigor. He's wearing trousers, right?
No,
I didn't actually ask.
the
Does Strava wear
Astravian are
trousers?
naked.
Okay. I'm gonna pat at his leg then.
Okay.
And then wave.
He looks
And then go
down,
back.
confused.
You're not a very memorable raccoon, are you?
I'm gonna wave. And then if he looks confused, I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna pretend to shiver.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna wave and go.
Okay. He looks even more confused. He is carrying a harness, as are a number of the other Astravi, but they're not heading in your direction currently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm back with the crew.
Okay.
So
So the princess is floating. She's floating towards Starak.
Yeah, so Starak now is standing up with the rest of them. So all 50 are coming to their feet. And as she floats up, she's landing on his shoulders, and he's put one arm up, and she's held the arm, and Starak wings are spreading.
It looks like they're leaving.
Oi, Starak, what's going on?
There's a brief pause, and then you hear a voice in your head. Sorry, busy talking to the princess.
That's it. Come on, fill me in.
I don't know, that's what he said.
Yeah, I know, but I get to reply, don't I, when voices appear in my head?
You do, yeah.
Is he saying this out loud?
No, this was in Harathi's head.
Okay.
Oh, Harathi, were you speaking out loud?
No, that was in my head as well.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. He's getting a bit used to this message business.
Okay.
So he was going to sort of sidle around and just start eyeing up those chests. He wants to sort of appraise them for weight when they get picked up. So based on the fact, he's just looking at the other chests, just sort of casually out the side of his eyes, just sort of looking at them, you know.
Yeah, so it's actually taking two Astravi. They've both put their hands through this massive iron hoop, and they're now lifting them up. It looked pretty heavy for them, in fact.
Right. And so there's a main chest which appears to be heavier than the others? Or...
No, they're all the same in weight.
Okay, so the one that is presumably is still spilling black mist.
One of them is, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any... what I want to do is to see if when I got up close, were there any indications as to... Would I recognize that chest again? I just want to make sure that I would remember that particular chest. So that's what I'm storing versus the others. Obviously, the others are, you know, so it's that particular one versus the other two. I mean, minus the mist.
All right, roll perception just to measure the memory of that image.
Okay. Oh. 9 with disadvantage. That's these eyes. It's like Zavar leans forwards and puts his finger in his eye again and just like blinks it away.
It's hard to tell. It's while you do have dark vision, you're not used to it, and with the constant shifting of leaves and rain pouring in your face, it's very hard to see. There's then another message in your head, Haratia. All right, we're leaving. Sorry, what do you say, Haratia?
I know what the plan is. We're leaving. Where to?
She said something about you have a place at Trillin, so I guess we're going to drop her off there.
All right, you better take me then. I ain't, I ain't leaving her there without me.
All right,
Well,
yeah, sure.
Aloud, I'll say to Adalbert, seems they're going to take us straight to the keep. You tell the media to go on her own. Make sure she avoids Serene.
Not at this distance. I can't. We need to send someone, one of the Astravi, and I look to the closest one to me, and just ask, can you tell Captain Amelia we're heading back to the keep with yourselves, and I kind of give him a detailed idea of where the ship is.
Okay. His head switches to face you, and there's a slight difference in posture. One you're not used to. Roll persuasion.
11.
You get a shake of the head from the Astravi, and they continue moving with the rest of the group. There's kind of unusually for the Astravi, there's kind of a one person behaviour going on, so they're all almost mimicking each other, moving in concert at the same time.
Derek, we need to tell our ship's captain to go back to the keep without us. You need to send one of your men.
Roll persuasion.
Actually, I might. That was out loud, right?
Yeah, that was out loud. No,
Does anyone interject? Actually, I might have a better plan.
Okay, hold that thought, because Mads has been trying to say something.
Sorry.
So Starrick looks. To me, he sounded like he was a little bit kind of preoccupied, and I feel like the Astravi are acting a bit weirdly. Can I kind of get a read on what's going on?
Sure. Roll an insight.
So that's 17.
Yeah, so you would guess that there's quite a lot of telepathic communication going on between the princess and Starrick, even now. And the rest of the Astravi are currently moving quite obediently. It's like they've just been told to do something and they suddenly started doing it, which is something you haven't seen before. They're normally quite... They work together, but they're relatively independent. And also, you've never seen them just ignore Adalbert. What was that, sorry, Matt?
They're fuming. Just standing there.
Sorry, you can go into Matt.
Sorry. So with regards to them kind of obeying, do they look like they're what do you call it, being controlled, or is there something psychic going on, or is it that this is like actually obeying?
Roll Arcana.
Well, yeah, shot my persuasion roll was it was a 5.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know shit, but that's a 7.
Starrick kind of shakes his head like there's a lot going on. And there's a brief moment when he lifts his head and he looks over at you, Hrathia, and then he looks over at you, Adalbert. Adalbert, you get a message in your head. What did you need?
And reply, one of your men needs to tell Captain Amelia we're heading back to sleep and she should return.
All right. I'll see what I can do. I can't guarantee it.
Same, I was moving forwards now, unaware of the conversation. I walk over to Horathia. Horathia, I think perhaps it would be better for Amelia to be seen by Serene on leaving and to head further away down the coast. If Serene is approaching and she thinks that we may have retrieved the princess, we might get a little lead her on a wild goose chase for a while.
I'll sort of nod, but I'm not going to reply. Oi, Stoic, you didn't answer me. We got a captain out there who's expecting us to come back.
I've spoken with Starrick, Horathia, that he's going to try and send someone.
He's going to try, is he? You better try fucking hard.
Roll intimidation.
14.
You see the same arms that are now by his side, the same kind of quivering of like intense rage in the posture of this Astravi as his wings are beginning to flap and he's beginning to raise up in the air with the princess standing on his shoulder, holding one arm. And he looks over again and at you, Horathia, and just gives you a curt nod. And this time he speaks out loud so that everyone can hear. I'll do what I can.
I assume that he was in hearing distance of what I said.
Yeah, everyone's fairly close together. There is a lot of wind and rain overhead, but yeah, they can hear you.
I reach my up to my head and I tip him a small nod and bow slightly.
Roll persuasion.
Oh, for goodness sake. We're doing terribly. That's a 6. Fuck.
Wow, it's a difficult one. So the Rygar and the other Astravi are coming over with their harnesses. They look a bit confused for Astravi, who tend to just stride around everywhere in determination. But they do come over with their harnesses and sort of walk up to you as if, like, are we supposed to be doing something?
Oh, are we?
After his last statement, can I message Horathia and just say, there is more than meets the eye here. There is no love lost between Starrick and the princess, and I am not entirely sure what is going on.
Looks to me like she's got him in some kind of grip.
I just nod.
Try talking to the one that carries you. You might be able to persuade him to think twice.
All right, are you gonna get harnessed up? What's the plan?
So I will.
Okay, someone starts getting into a harness.
So I don't have any idea that, like, I think they're in a grip of something or not.
Your Arcana roll was 6 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, 7.
7, yeah. There's nothing overt going on. So the magic that you're aware of is mainly in their nature. So these are magical beings. They can fly in ways that wouldn't be physically possible. The princess is definitely just flying. So you're aware of all that going on. There's nothing clear to say that they're under mind control.
Okay, fine.
Horathia will get in a harness.
Okay.
Do I know that this is going to take longer than well, how long has it been since I've been in raccoon form?
About coming up to an hour. So you've had half an hour just chatting, but you went into Raccoon quite early on in the session.
Fine. I'm gonna drop it then.
Okay.
And then go towards Rigor to get in his harness.
Okay. He sees you turn back into a small elf, and is there's a moment of like, I was confused about something. Let me think about it. So he's kind of staring into space as you approach, and then suddenly it clicks, and he looks down at you and sort of gives you a wave with one of his arms.
Hello, Mr. Shivery. Would you would you be so kind as to take me?
Of course. Why not?
Thank you. I don't know where we're going. Do you know where we're going?
Well, just following. I don't know.
What did he say?
Just following.
No. What did Zamar say?
Zamar was sort of like, well, I'm hoping we're going to go back to the ruined keep, but I don't mind having a slight detour. It's not a bad night for flying.
I mean, it's wet and miserable like every other night, but sure.
What time is it?
We might see the stars.
It's about 9:30 in the
I would
evening.
not care to go that high, I'm afraid. It is extremely cold up there.
All right. So, assuming that you all do get into a harness, the Astravi take off and start flying directly up.
Can I just check they're taking Bran? Because no one actually said.
Actually, yeah, they're going to have to take everyone. So Baha's got to go. Bran's got to go. The harness doesn't fit Bran very well. But he's kind of getting used to it now. I mean, he wasn't happy to begin with, and now he's just got his paws over the top of this harness with his head down like this, going... Bran is a direwolf, by the way. So yeah, he's not looking happy, but he's getting used to it. So you're all taking off. You're flying directly up. You're rising above the canopy of the forest. There's not much to see from where you are. You've got rain driving into your face, and it's dark. Occasionally, there's a lightning flash, and you get this view of the entire jungle beneath you.
Is this like the Aladdin sequence?
Yeah, Zamar's got his arms out like this.
Once they...
he's just like waving his arms. He's just like, basically, he's got his arms out to the side, and he's just like feeling the breeze on his face. He's just got his arms stretched out, and then he's like...
He's Kate.
All right, and then once they reach a certain altitude, they dive down into a glide and start flying towards, you think, the ruined keep from what you can tell. At the moment, there's a group of you, so you're in a small unit. You can see ahead, occasionally with the lightning flash, this large mass of the other 40 or so Astravi ahead of you. But with the visibility being a problem, most of the time you can just see within the 60 foot or whatever of each other flying in formation. So
I'm going to make...
Sorry, go on.
Sorry. I'm going to make conversation with Rigel.
All right.
So I'm going to be like, so, Mr. Shivery, how have you been? I've not seen you in a while.
Busy.
We don't see each other.
Been very busy.
What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
We got a lot of missions, you know.
Oh, we've been on missions too. You're just helping us in one now, in fact. Well, what missions have you been on?
Can't say. You know how it is.
I do. All top secret, you know. So, what sort of fun things did you do, though? Like, don't tell me about the mission, but, like, did you do anything fun?
Yeah, we had a lot of diving, which I like. It's my favourite part of the mission, you know. Going from high altitude to low altitude is good.
Shall we do that now?
Sure, why not? Cool. And the rest of you see Rykor's plummet down towards the ground, and the other Astravi just ignore him. And then he comes rising up again to join.
Zamar looks over and is extremely annoyed he didn't think of that, and is trying to get No, like, how did you get him to do that? Shout across. I'm trying to like lean him over to try and like
trying to
move him
steer
like a
the
horse
Astravi.
I can't drive. Yeah, to get him over closer to Alithia. How do you steer these things? Sorry, would you? This is.
Roll persuasion.
Come on. Yes. 21.
Okay, for some reason, the Astravi seems to recognize the movements that you're making and what your intention.
Okay, I'm gonna just sort of see this sort of like steering and then sort of like sidle up next to Alithia. Is like Zamor's face is beaming like you haven't seen it beam for a long time. Look at this.
Isn't it fun?
Ah, it's always fun. We can go down.
Okay.
Down.
You start plummeting towards the canopy of the jungle beneath.
Okay, and then I'll go wait, and then turn, and then back up again.
I would say for a while, this 21, whatever it was you rolled, is enough to have this kind of control. You've got some kind of
Okay, I've got to try for
wordless
a barrel roll.
relationship with this Astravi.
I've got to try for a barrel roll. Okay.
Well, bearing in mind it's not you doing the barrel roll, and the Astravi is extremely competent at flying. You do indeed do a barrel roll, and getting into the sort of excitement of the moment, the Astravi does 2 or 3 in a row.
I finish and then I'm like,
Adalbert rolls his eyes and just mutters, "Tourists."
Wait. If I see the barrel roll, I'm gonna turn to Mr. Rigor and be like, "Hey, Mr. Shivering, can you do fun things like that as well?"
Yeah. And he starts doing a barrel roll.
Are there any other types? I'm not like a. Can we do like a loop to loop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do anything that a plane can do, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just a bit slower.
Like a loop to loop in the air.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So.
Sorry.
Well, how close is Hrathir and his Astravi to the princess?
You were a bit delayed in taking off, so there's a good 200 feet between you at the moment.
Right. So, as we're flying, I say, "Oi, what do you know about a princess?"
Like what?
Anything. What do you know?
She's a princess.
Look, she looks kind of human, but sometimes she has 6 arms. How's that? Blue eyes, all that shit. What's that about?
Fucking royalty, innit?
Look, I've met royalty before, and they didn't have glowing fucking eyes, 6 arms and all that.
Astravi, I guess.
Yeah, but she looks human. How's that?
Royalty.
You tell me she's part Australian.
There's a long pause as your Astravi is thinking very hard. Don't know.
From far away, Zamar comes up and goes, "You could be doing barrel rolls instead of chatting."
He's going to carry on. All right. Is she your princess?
No.
All right.
Yes.
In which case, why are you so keen to do what she wants?
I don't want to.
Well, Starrick seems to.
Yeah.
Right, you. We're a bit behind them. You got to get me to the Rune Keep before the princess lands. Got it?
All right. Everyone roll perception.
2.
Oh my goodness. I was rolling disadvantage, so I started by rolling a 2, and I was like, well, it can't get much worse than that. Nope, I rolled a 1.
Wow.
16. That's pretty good
What
at
am I
disadvantage.
rolling? My thingy crap out.
What was that, sorry?
What
Nice.
am I rolling?
Oh, perception.
Oh, okay, so that's 23.
Okay, and Adalbert?
3.
3. Yeah. So, Herathia and Alithia, you spot this quite early on. The Astravi in front of you, you only see them occasionally when the lightning flashes. And there's this moment when you're flying together and this black blob ahead of you of the group of Astravi continues to fly as normal. And then there's another flash a few, 10 seconds later, and they've moved and they've gone off to the side. And then there's another flash and they're off to the side again. So you notice that fairly quickly. Arathia, it takes a bit longer for you to see that, but you do see them breaking off. They're heading in a different direction to you.
Oh, Mr. Shifu, where are they going off to?
Dunno, he said something about the princess wants to get changed or something.
Get changed?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Can she turn into animals like me?
I don't know.
Okay. Can I go with?
With the princess?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. Do you not think she'd want to be friends?
Maybe?
Do you think she could be my friend like you? You're my friend.
Yeah, probably.
Well, then shall we go see?
Roll persuasion.
Fuck. I'm so
Going so
bad
well.
at this.
Oh no.
4.
Oh dear.
Your guys, your rolls are just crazy. There's just a long pause, and then I don't know. Sorry, maybe we've been told to go to the Ruin Keep, so I don't know.
But the princess isn't coming. If the princess is coming to the room keep, well, she's not.
I think she's going to get changed first. That's what they said.
Okay.
But where were they
Okay.
going to get changed?
All you could see. So you're heading due northeast. Well, due northeast. And the Astravi in front of you have headed off directly east, which, as far as you know, is just out to sea.
No, let her go.
I was too busy enjoying himself to even concern with that. Doesn't care.
I message. As we're flying and Ellie and Zamar are kind of loop-de-looping and barrel rolling, I message Herathia. I'm like, while the children are playing, we need to talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Honest, and that was a policy, one of the things I agreed on. So what's this about you and Zamar using magic to communicate?
I think I missed the start of what you said, but I think I got the gist. Actually, no. Tell me what the first bit was, because it was. Would you mind repeating it? Sorry.
We've been on it, and it was part of my agreement joining this gang that I will be treated fairly, equally, and kept in the loop. What is this nonsense about you and Zamar communicating with magic?
All right. So he's got some sort of bracelet thing, and I've got a ring, and we can talk to each other on it. I just forgot to tell you, ain't no secret. We had that already. We ain't found it since we met you.
Adalbert's just thinking he doesn't like not knowing things. Just-
Look, if it helps, I had a dump yesterday morning as well. Just to keep you in the loop.
So I didn't. Charming. Any other revelations?
I don't think there's anything else that you're going to want to know that we haven't told you. All right?
Can I examine the ring and bracelet when we get back? And your sword, actually. I've been doing some thinking while we've been on the ships, and there's a few things I'd like to try.
Yeah, I guess that's all right. Mind you, I'm going to have words with this fucking sword myself.
Yes.
So when these Astravi are going over, and I've had this conversation with Rigor, and I know that they've kind of like leaving, can I gesture to the other guys?
When exactly do you want to do this?
Just as I notice that they're like, after I've had the conversation and I see that they're
Okay.
flying off,
Sure.
I'm just like,
Does this look like Ellie's gesturing or just having fun?
Well,
Flying?
Ellie is now Ellie. So the manic sort of arm waving is pretty clear.
Yeah, but she's also doing barrel rolls.
Same old Stotts game. Waving back.
It's up to you how you interpret it from your character's point of view.
Keep going.
I wave back at Ellie.
no, I'm just like trying to, I'm pointing at Adelbert.
If you want to have a conversation, you can get closer and then shout.
I'm having like issues with my computer. Ah, it's because it's not plugged in. Yeah, I'm gonna get closer then. I'm gonna say, Mr. Shivery, can you take us closer?
Sure. Hang on.
Thank
And
you.
he spins to the side and drifts over to Adalbert.
So I'm gonna be like, Adelbert, they're moving away. She's not coming with us. And you too, Harathi, I guess. She's going to get changed first. They're going east.
Can I see them flying off?
So you missed it completely, as did Simon.
So what? She either comes to keep or she don't. I'm happy either way.
Yeah, but do we need to find out
And
what's going on?
her dress
with her?
was... I mean, her dress was ruined. You can't expect a lady to present herself in society looking like that.
But she's not. She may not come back.
Look, she needs me for something. She reckons she wants Lord Match as well, for all the good that will do her. So if she needs me, she'll come to the keep. Don't worry, don't sweat it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
if it helps, I'll just ask Starrett to keep us updated. And I kind of aim thoughts for Starrett. I hear the princess needs to change clothes. Can you keep us updated on what's going on?
Sure.
Thank you.
Adalbert,
And
just,
Harathi?
it might be a good idea to keep on trying to speak to Starrett just to test how he's behaving, because they all seem a little bit strange to me.
Yes.
One thing I'm worried about, if they disappear...
He said he'd keep me...
Yeah, but if they disappear for her to get changed, and she's got some sort of grip on them, she might use that time and make it a bit stronger, if you know what I mean.
Perhaps. I would have thought the Huntress's grip was stronger, however.
I ain't got the faith in your goddess that you've got.
Do you have faith in me?
You're useful, yeah. Yeah, I put more faith in you than your
beams
Huntress,
inwardly. Yeah. Just, if you can see someone glowing without kind of wanting to show it, then that's going on. Stark will keep me in. And I'll check in if we need to.
As a meta point, do I get a short rest during?
I was going to say it is a 2-hour flight,
Yeah.
so you do all get a short rest. So go ahead and plug that in.
Yes, yes.
Should have gone on the boat. We'd have had a long rest then.
Oh, where did the others go? What happened? Did they go a different route?
The princess needs some more clothes.
Right. Well, further away from us, the better, I suppose. I look up. What's the how long do you think it might be before we get to the ruined keep? It seems to me maybe 50 minutes, perhaps? Around the turn of the hour?
Maybe.
They're very talkative, this lot, aren't they?
All right, to move things on, as you approach the ruined keep, Rygor says to you, Alithia, so, where are we going to land? Where do you want us to go?
At the keep?
Yeah, but, like, where?
The back is...
Oh, do you want
good.
to come for tea at my treehouse?
Oh, good.
No.
Oh.
Roll
I hear
persuasion. Yeah, you can hear Alithia, yeah.
Yeah, no. That is a 7.
Saving all the good rolls for when it matters.
Yep.
Yeah, you heard that same one.
We could... I'd call over to Rathia. 2 ways in. Will the town worry about seeing all of this Stravi arrive at the keep?
No, I couldn't give a stuff if the town see 1,000 of these fuckers. It's about time they woke up and smelt what was going on.
Looks like we're landing in the courtyard then.
Well, I mean, the Stravi are cloaked in darkness, so the townfolk needn't see anything at all.
Look, all I'm saying is I couldn't give a shit if they see him. I ain't into secrecy for secrecy's sake. All this shit about magic don't exist hasn't done anyone any good, has it?
For once, Horathia, I completely agree with you. There, and he kind of looks to Ellie, and then returns to Horathia. There's too much talk of magic being evil, magic being cruel, magic being something to be feared.
It is. I've seen it. If I hear them.
Adabeh ignores that interjection and continues. With your support and continued support, I hope to see one day changes in this world.
Fine with me. too many people on high pissing on the people below. That's how I see it.
All right, I'm going to say that because you spoke about the courtyard, that's where you're dropping down. The courtyard of the ruined keep is all dark and fairly quiet anyway, and there are only the Golden Leaf guards to see you arrive. So that's not too much of a problem. So you plummet down as usual, and then at the last minute the wings open out as a windbreak. And you come to a slamming halt on the ground in the courtyard of the ruined keep. And the Astravi help you get out of the harness and then start flapping off and take up off above you and rise up into the air and make their way into the sky. As they leave, you hear something unusual. There is music coming from the ruined keep inside.
I was about to ask what kind of music, but that's great. Matthew looks a
You
bit.
take my suggestions.
He's looking a bit puzzled by this, and he stomps off towards the keep.
Okay.
Zamal's still staring at the sky and then looks down.
Can I try and get Rigor to 12?
Rigor has left. The Astravia are flying up into the air and flying off.
Oh, they've left. They've
Yeah.
left. Fine. I will grab Adalbert there and we'll dance up to the keep.
Okay, so Alithia and Adalbert have taken hands and are dancing to this music. Herathia is striding up the path to the ruined keep. And what's Zamar doing?
He looks back at the sky and then shakes his head a bit and then walks slowly and somewhat despondently back up towards the keep.
Can I grab him into a dance then if I see him look
No.
sad?
He's way back.
Like with the two of us.
All right, Herathia, you get to the open square door. And
Yeah,
the two guards.
I've got an eye out for whoever's in charge of the guards at the keep. If I can see whoever's in charge, I'm gonna signal to him to come here.
So the typically it's the guard on inside the gate, inside the doorway. Sorry. So as you go in through the doorway of this room, on the left and right are two corridors, and there's two guards with heavy crossbows standing directly there. It's normally one of them that's responsible for everything.
I mean, I'll know which one, I assume.
Yeah.
So first things first, I suppose I'll have a look in and see where this music's coming from.
Okay, so you poke your head around. The inside of the ruin keep is a bit unusual. So it's late-ish. So normally it would be full of people making a lot of noise and getting into fights and drinking heavily. But instead they're all sat around listening to this music quite quietly.
Is this your friend, Ben?
Right, you're gonna have to give me more on that. Where's the music coming from?
Over in the shadows, almost at the far end of the inside the ruin keep, there is a musical instrument, which is a wooden. It looks like almost a guitar shape with strings on it, and there is a woman sitting behind it, plucking at the strings. She is human. She's wearing a white dress with of fairly thick material. Looks a bit like a sari, and it's got some black etching in different places. Not etching is the wrong word, but embroidery. Thank you. Black embroidery in various places. And she's got her head down, but she's got a long black hair pulled up into a bun with wooden pins. Roll perception.
8.
It's quite dark. She's almost completely in shadow. So you can't make out a great deal of detail. It looks like she's probably got something over her shoulder, like a bag of some kind, but you can't quite make it out. And she's got coppery skin, got her head down.
What colour's her hair, did you say?
Black.
Right. I'll frown, but I have more important things to talk about. Or you. So he probably wouldn't say that because this is a person who works for him and he'll know his name. So there we go. I'm going to put you on the spot. What's his name?
Ratch.
What's that?
Ratch. Ratch.
Oh, Ratch. We got a situation coming. We've met up with some sort of princess, Princess Mayanara. She's coming here to the keep. Now, I've got some unusual orders for you. She is absolutely dangerous. So my orders are to not attack her under virtually any circumstance. I got a pretty strong feeling that if you did, they'd just go straight through her, if you get my drift, without doing any damage. Keep out of her way. I've got an agreement, if it's worth anything, that she ain't gonna attack if she don't get attacked or threaten herself. So there's a second bit of the order. None of the men are to be threatening in any way to her. And if any punter or anyone threatens her or even looks like he's going to threaten her, take him out.
All right, can do that. I'll pass it on.
Now, what the fuck's with this music?
Oh, yeah. She arrived a few hours ago. She's been playing. Seems like people like it. It's kind of nice. Not normally my sort of thing, but yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it, you know.
You'll have a good look at him. See if he's paying attention or he looks like he's focused and things.
Roll insight.
It's a pointless waste of time in my current circumstance, but I'll give it a go. 15.
Yeah, it's a bit unusual. He's not the normal music lover, should we say. It's a bit unusual for him to like this.
But he looks like he's paying attention, doing all the things that guys should do, like keeping his eyes moving around the room and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so he's definitely listening, but he seems to have, like, I was about to say two ears. One ear on you and the other ear on the music. He's definitely just slightly distracted.
Snap my fingers in front of his face. Look, the music ain't for you, is it?
Right,
Pay
right.
attention. Make sure your men are sharp.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, on it. Roll perception.
13.
The woman who's playing, as she's playing, she's sort of mainly concentrating on the strings in front of her. But she looks up briefly and catches your eye, and then looks away, maybe a bit shy.
Is she looking away because she's naturally bashful at this absolute hunk of a guy? Or does she just really didn't want to catch my eye because...
Roll insight.
what am I? I'm wasting on these.
This has to be bad.
That's much better. It's a 5.
Oh.
5. All right. You are unclear. Certainly, it could have been shyness. It could have been the hunk of the guy. But in that moment of contact, you do recognise that she has an Asian appearance, and it is fairly familiar. She looks a little bit like Princess Mayanara.
A little
And
bit.
for this particular episode, I'm going to introduce somebody to join us
Ooh.
to play this new character. So, Kevin, if you'd like to come on the stream.
There is. Where are we going to put him on the stream? Oh, no.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna watch that.
I'm looking over at the stream just to see what's going on.
It's partly why I had problems with the thing earlier.
Right.
So I'm just going to turn everyone's images off so that I can
Okay.
sort out the stuff.
This is a classic. Simon. He does this all the time. For those who are watching, he's always doing this to us and always dropping people into the stream on random.
I'm so happy.
All right, Kevin, how's it going? You
Hi,
muted.
thanks for having me.
Of course.
Fantastic.
Joining.
That's fantastic.
I'm
All right.
very excited to be here.
There's going to be a little bit of
Also-
faffing as I switch over to a different.
I know, yeah, it's a
but-
different thing. I should have figured out how to. I literally thought, shall I figure out how to put 5 people on the stream? Nah, we're not going to need that.
So,
Right.
so when Simon asked you to
Brilliant.
do some artwork for this character, you didn't think it was off. Character artwork.
Okay, all right. It's noted. I'll read up on the artwork. Just had to do a whole bunch of bloody maps. It's oh my god.
All right, I'm just bringing you all back.
Okay.
This is amazing. Oh my god, my week has been made.
Mine too. I'm very excited to be here.
So, Kevin, welcome to the room.
Lovely to
Keith.
have you.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for so kindly offering to play this character. I can't wait to see what you do with her. But we're jumping straight in. So, Horatia has just caught your eye. You're currently playing this instrument. What would you like to do?
I think after catching his eye for a moment, and having looked away, I will continue to play and finish the song because it's at least respectful to the audience. But during the final, part, I will definitely kind of seem to be gathering myself, and I will play the last part to him and potentially to the party if they're joining him.
Okay.
So can I try and make my way towards this older woman? Like I'm entranced or something, as if I'm in
Yeah, sure. So you've come dancing in with Adalbert, and as you arrive, you see this this woman bent over the instrument playing. You probably missed the sudden sort of gaze when she met Horatia's eye, but you would have just caught as she put her head down and sort of looked a bit shy. So yeah, you come in and you see.
I'm just
her
sitting
playing.
there like that on the floor, looking up at her.
Zaymar, meanwhile, what are you doing?
Zaymar doesn't really notice what's going on, or he does recognize the music and think that it's strange, but he actually walks quietly over to the bar where the Zamabrath is and orders a red wine, and then proceeds to stare out the back of the keep towards the table that he normally sits at.
Adalbert?
Actually, the same idea as Zaymar going to the bar to get some red wine for myself and Ellie. And because I'm walking with Zaymar, I kind of go, this is a keep I could get used to.
Horatio's going to stomp over to this woman.
Okay.
Before when she's finished her music, before Horatia stomped over,
Yeah.
can I have a chance to speak to her?
Oh, I'm not going to wait for her to finish her music. I'm stomping over before she's finished.
Can I put my hand up to Horatia?
You can.
You can, but it's not going to stop him.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
We go with the grapple again.
You are also sitting down, so Horatia is 7 foot tall, and Alithia
Okay.
is quite short, and you're sitting down, so your position isn't the strongest. But you got your hand up, and Harathia goes straight past.
Oh, I'm right by her feet though.
So Rathia will stand, not quite in her personal space, but near her, looking down. He doesn't know music at all, so he doesn't know she could be going on for another 15 minutes, 10 hours for all he knows. So he's going to say, "Who are you?"
This is a beautiful, wonderful being. You don't speak like that.
Why should I speak different for her? Just because she's pretty?
And she can play. No one who can play like that can be bad or anything but amazing.
He'll shake his head. So, who are you?
Okay, so on her part, I suppose she probably wasn't entirely finished by the time Harathia is interrupting, so she'll weave an ending to it, as well as she can at that point, and immediately kind of, you can see the urgency in her, and she pushes herself to her feet the moment that she's done, and takes a step back and makes a very formal curtsy, just arms to the side and head down, and she says, "I am Sumita. I am an envoy of the Empress, and I've come here for you, Commander Harathia. Might you have some time for me? I've waited much of the day."
Yeah, I got time.
She looks through the audience, and she actually briefly goes to make a curtsy to them as well. And then she turns back to Harathia and she says, "Is there a place where we might speak privately?"
Yeah, he'll nod. Now, as he's standing close to her, how much does she look like Princess Mayonara?
So at first glance, it was the similarity was striking, but you realise that's mainly because you haven't seen many women who look like this before. So actually, there's quite a few differences. She's definitely got a almost sharper face. It's a different angle to the cheekbones. Her eyes aren't bright blue, and her skin tone is slightly different. Are there any other differences that you want to describe, Kevin?
No, I think it's all really subtle. Just a little bit, especially. She is keeping her eyes averted a little bit. It's that kind of deference of someone who deals with nobility or powerful people, but isn't one herself. So she's kind of keeping her eyes averted a bit. So probably that also just makes it a little bit harder to see her up close, because she's just being a little bit deferential. But no other very, very notable differences, I think. It's just in the details.
Before we go and go to our meeting room, I just want to know. You ain't got 6 arms when you want. Blades coming out of them and shit like that.
I can't say that I do. Is that a requirement for a meeting with you, Commander?
No, it ain't. Your princess is pretty lethal, and I like to be prepared.
My princess. I'm an envoy of the Empress.
Oh, shit, sorry. Can I retro that bit?
Oh.
No.
Not paying attention? Sorry.
Nope.
I think that's
paying attention.
an intelligence thing, maybe. Roll intelligence for Rathia. Let's do it by dice.
Actually, I'm not bothered. I assume I'm at disadvantage with this as well.
Yeah. You're still. Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that could have been worse. I don't do this very often. 12. There we go.
Yeah, you can retro it.
Okay. All right. So this is what he says instead. Then, I'm just checking because you look a little bit like a pretty dangerous princess we just met.
Met a princess in these parts. Interesting.
He'll signal with his head, come this way, and he'll turn around and walk towards the meeting room.
She'll curtsy very slightly again and move to follow.
Can I like sneakily away from the guards and things like that, maybe in the folds of my skirt, try and make a flower
Sure.
from a seed?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so you're making
Do I
a flower.
succeed?
Yeah. Whether you do it and she doesn't notice is another matter. So roll sleight of hand.
No, I just don't want the guards to notice. I don't care about anyone else.
Oh, okay. Roll sleight of hand anyway.
Nope. That's a 7.
Well, you tried. As you're doing it, one of the flowers that you're trying to manipulate drops to the ground, and you have to pick it up again. So you kind of blow your secret folding.
Okay. Fine. So, no, like I'm using the power of the gods to make a seed into a flower,
Ah,
like
okay.
a real flower.
All right. Yeah, you drop the
just
seed.
don't
And,
want...
yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So I'm gonna, before they go into the meeting room, because I know what Horathia's like, I'm gonna say, Horathia, may we come in as well? And also, Madam Samita, is it?
Samita, yes.
Samita. My name's Alethea, and where I'm from, when we have people who play, then we give them flowers at the end as thanks. So this is for you. And I hand her a handful of hibiscus.
She'll take it and smell it for a moment. She looks at it very appreciatively, like very, very warmly. And then she'll look at you again, at Alethea, and she'll say, you are everything that I expected. The Empress is very eager to see you again. We should talk soon.
Just nod.
Okay. And she'll still go. She's very focused.
So Horatio will have paused and looked over his shoulder because Alethea asked if they were invited, and he'll say, "Come on then, oi, Zabrath, drinks. I'm fucking thirsty."
I look round from this, and then over at the new guest. There's sort of like a moment of confusion, and then furrowed brow. Samar starts walking over. He doesn't appear, fairly neutral, starts walking over. Looks directly at Horatha. A new guest. He doesn't look at Samita at all.
Okay. Zabrath is bringing over some wine, he guessed.
So, oi, Zabrath, where's the fucking beer?
He turns, goes back in, having put the wine in the meeting room.
Oh, he put it in the meeting room.
Yeah.
Taking it away again. What?
Okay, so who's going into the meeting room currently? Horathia, Samita, Ellie.
I will.
Okay, so
All of us, I think.
everyone is going in. Okay. All right, so the meeting room is quite small, but there's plenty of room at the table. Just the group of you. Baha will follow and then stand in the corner and watch Samita very carefully. Bran the direwolf is gonna go under the table and just sit there smelling of wet direwolf and sort of growling occasionally, very grumpily. Not really paying that much attention, but yeah, you're now in the meeting room. The door shuts. You have the room to yourself.
Horatio will signal to Bran to get close enough to the princess to make her uncomfortable. I mean, not the princess, the envoy.
All right. Roll persuasion.
Oh, this is Bran we're talking about. You're killing me with these disadvantaged rolls.
Can
Right,
I
Oh, do you know, I rolled 18 twice, so...
Nice.
right,
Can I
okay.
do something to up the DC?
Anyway, that's 19.
So I'm going to like if Bran is anywhere near me, I'm just gonna cause like a warm breeze to gently go through his fur and slowly dry him.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think direwolves purr, but if a direwolf could, it would. Yeah, Bran's enjoying that. So that obviously that will help. There's a direwolf approaching you, Samita. Kind of shuffling like, don't notice me. I know I'm huge and have big teeth, but there's a direwolf getting a bit closer to you.
Okay. Samita will definitely be fidgeting, and she's not moving away. She's keeping her composure, but you definitely vibes of she's not comfortable in this particular situation, and she's very promptly ignoring the direwolf. Like she's not looking at it, hoping that it will go away.
Okay. Where are you sitting? So Horathio will be at the head of the table, but there's another head. So you could be opposite Horathio, you could be to the side.
It's called the foot of the table.
Words are hard. I've heard.
If I may, how large is the table? Like, is it very far away to sit across on the other side?
It's not. It seats. There's 3 on each side, I think. So 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Plus the head and the foot, apparently.
I will attempt to sit close to Horathio at his side, if that is allowed. But if I get any glances, especially from him, if that's not wanted, she'll kind of try to redirect to the other side of the table.
Okay.
He's not going to stop her sitting there at all. She can sit where she likes.
Which side are you going to?
At Horathio's right hand, most likely, if possible.
Isabel walks in, just kind of looks at you, grumbles, and goes to the foot of the table.
Zamar, when he sidles in behind, he basically sort of slides down, walks round to the far side of the table and takes up his customary position, leaning against the wall in the corner.
Okay.
When he sees the direwolf start to edge over and make Sunita uncomfortable, there's a small smirk that creeps onto his face. And then it's gone in an instant.
All right. The room falls silent.
Yeah. I was just going to say, if there is indeed a silence that falls, she would probably take a moment and then, in the way that some people can't stand uncomfortable silences, she'll interject to Horathio and she'll go, well, Commander, I know your name and the lovely Alithia, but might I be introduced to your other companions?
Yeah, I reckon you might. Adalbert, Zamar, and that there's Bar.
She'll take a nod.
I quickly turn. Yes. Grand Inquisitor Adalbert, Gnostic of Dampau.
She simply makes the head gesture and then sits uncomfortably again.
You don't have to act impressed.
Samita's not laughing.
You forgot Bran.
Zamar says nothing. He's just basically studying this woman he does not know. He's kind of He's sort of looking at it and he's trying to decide what to do. He can't decide whether to be grumpy or not. But as soon as Horathio is normally good at being grumpy, he doesn't feel like two people should be grumpy in the meeting.
Grumpy cough and grumpy cough.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really work. It's kind of like he's normally so he elects to do nothing instead.
So, Madam Samita, I know this all belongs to Horathio, but how can we help you?
Well, I'm actually glad to speak with all of you privately, but my primary concern and the mission from the Empress is to investigate and understand the security of Trellin and of a nearby town called Rogatone. Are you familiar?
I've heard bad things about Rogatone.
Yeah.
Don't go to Rogatone with this lot. They killed everyone.
But we didn't.
Everyone in the town has perished?
What's Rogerton to the Empress then?
She will hesitate, and her head comes up for the first time really since they've met to kind of look at Harathir more openly. And she'll say, "It's my understanding that you have the Empress's full confidence, so I will admit that even I am not aware. I have been instructed to inquire after its security, along with Trillin, but I am also curious to find out if there is any cause for concern, as it's my understanding that the place itself is not of importance at all."
While this is going on, can I message Zaymar and just be like, what's Rogerton?
He's swigging from a bottle of wine at the moment. Rogerton, a place that Harathir and I visited. It is the source of the infection that was in my eye. Bad place. Some things that appeared that we did not know what they looked like. They appeared and we're not sure whether they were real or not. The entire place crawling with a crack and mist. Yes, bad things.
Look, if you're asking about the security of Trillin and Rogerton, there must be a reason for that. This ain't just a social call. Why is she interested?
I'm afraid I'm only an envoy. I am here to find out and report on the state of matters, but the Empress does not share her personal mind or concerns with me to that degree, I'm afraid.
Right, so you personally want to go to Rogerton to have a look?
I will accept information that you provide to the contrary, if you would advise against it, and she'll kind of look around the table at the others to, maybe gauge their level of concern or fear on each individual person, if possible.
Okay, so Zaymar, what is the level of concern on your face?
He's not sort of concerned per se, he's just sort of frowning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harathir?
No, he's doing his best poker face.
All right. So, frowning, poker face, Alithia?
I mean, I'm just going to be like looking between them, like quite confused, to be honest.
Confused? Adalbert?
Just drinking wine. This is all news to me.
All right. Drinking. Roll insight,
Yes.
Kevin.
My first roll on the stream. And it's terrible. That is a 2 + 3 for a 5.
Well, you heard what's on their faces. You're going to have to interpret that yourself. You've just arrived. You don't know them very well. The poker face of Harathir is pretty good. And Zaymar, yeah, you just don't know them very well.
Okay. Then she will respond as follows. Looking around the room, still kind of demure, just briefly darting around with her glance, she'll focus back on Harathir. And it's almost like her whole posture changes to someone more relaxed. She kind of leans back in the chair a little bit. She'll remove the pin from her hair, just let it down. Commander Harathir, I apologize, but for someone like me, it's always important to travel incognito, and I had to make sure that you were who you are. My name is Reina. I am a trusted confidant of the Empress. I am not aware of her motivations, but I am meant to investigate all possible threats that might cause Trillin to become, in any way, dangerous to the Empire.
Fair enough. But I ain't giving you anything unless you can prove you are who you say you are.
I thought you might. She will produce from her bag the papers that she has, official papers for Samita, and then she will produce for herself identical papers for Reina, with the Empress's seal, I believe, was on it. Right, Simon?
Correct. And the papers that she shows you are not the same, but they're very similar to the ones that you
Zaymar
have.
sees this and walks forwards. Papers. Hand them over, please.
She pushes them across the
In
table.
the meantime, I message Harathia. Let me know if you want an aura of truthfulness for the room.
Yeah, if you can do that, yeah, why not?
Zaymar looks over at the papers and then reaches into one of his many pockets and produces a piece of wax with the Empress's seal on it, and proceeds to examine. But the seal, is it the same?
It is.
As soon as I see this, can I,
I mean, I'm doing it behind the paper, so I'm doing it behind the paper. So
all right. So I want him to roll a stealth roll, otherwise I'm going to notice this.
Obviously, you're hiding it from Reina, but it's more visible to Harathia. But roll stealth if you want to hide it from Harathia. It's up to you.
no, I don't want to hide it from Harathia.
So Harathia can see it, yeah.
No, the whole point is for Harathia to see it.
Okay.
All right, fine, but I'm gonna what is it? We got a sign language thing, haven't we? My mind's gone blank. Sorry.
Thieves
Hand.
cant.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna thieves cant him. Don't let us see that. But I don't know why I'm speaking it like that because it's probably not verbal.
No, I think it's
like-
good. You're signing in character.
It's okay. So I'm putting it up against the. So I put it up against the paper, and the idea is that I'm just sort of like studying it, and then basically the idea, because I'm standing side on to you, and she's opposite me. So I sort of put it up and then study it, and then I look over to you and I just nod when I see it, and then I take the pieces of paper and put them in my pockets.
Are you trying to hide this from Reina, though?
The seal
Yeah.
is just a small piece of stick. So yeah, it was meant to come up behind the thing. So I'm just looking and studying the seal of the.
Roll a sleight of hand.
Okay. 17.
I actually don't have your stats right in front of me, Kevin, so you'll have to let me know if that. Beats you.
My passive perception is 13.
Okay.
I am watching closely for signs, but she's not like showing any signs of hostility for whatever interactions are going on.
Okay, you see Zaymar studying the paper, but you don't see any other activity.
To be clear, if she did see anything, all that she would see is a stick of red. That's all you're going to see is a stick of red wax. And then, so there's nothing to be seen on it, unless you've got the seal facing you.
Yeah.
So.
And you said you're
Marine.
putting the papers into your pocket?
I move to. Basically, what I do is I secrete the wax way out in one of my back into the thing, and then I begin to roll them up. I assume they were scrolled, were they? Or rolled?
Oh, the scrolls, yeah.
Were they folded or rolled up?
They're rolled when they're given to you, Kevin. But
Yeah. So I proceed to roll them, and then I just go to.
The hand comes out, like as you're rolling them, the hand just comes up very casually, very expectantly, just waiting for them back.
It's like Zaymar raises an eyebrow and is like, of course. And hands them over.
Yes.
I go back
You
to the wall and fold my arms.
Sorry, Matt, go on.
You say you are here to determine purity of Trillin. This is also something we take very seriously, so I hope you don't mind if we make this room more secure and more develop our own securities.
Of course. Have we lost Matt?
Oh, it does seem to have frozen.
It's a very good
Yeah.
aura of truthfulness.
All right, so I assume that Adalbert casts the spell.
Oh, it's back again.
Oh,
He's
okay.
back.
So I can still hear the music, but everything else was very strange.
Oh,
So,
so
was there a
where do you
reply?
want the zone? Where are you going to put it?
Oh, super. I am going to do it essentially so it covers, because it's that entire side of the room. So essentially the tip is on the center of the table opposite Raina. And then it kind of covers the table, so it shouldn't affect anybody else,
Okay.
apart from Bram.
All right.
Quick question. Is there a visible spell casting going on?
Yes, unless you're going to try and stealth it, Adalbert. I think you just asked politely, so I'm guessing that you're just going to cast the spell, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah. He asked politely and then started casting.
Okay.
So
When
Zaymar
Zaymar sees this, you see him sort of like edging slightly further away, just slightly.
wishing that he could actually see the zone, yeah.
Yeah, he's got no idea, but he's sort of bracing himself.
Kevin?
Upon the spell being cast, the only thing that she does is she sits back and she will start playing around a little bit and uncover the medallion that she keeps in a pouch around her neck with the iron medallion, the sign of the Huntress on it.
Okay.
And she waits for questions, presumably, and surrenders to the effect if that is something that is required.
Okay. So you need to roll a saving throw charisma.
May I choose to fail?
You may.
Okay, then I will choose to fail.
Everyone sees the medallion and the hunting horn embossed on the medallion.
So it
I'll-
seems to... Sorry, go
I'd
on,
be
Kevin.
aware that Raina chose to fail, so I'll just look at her and nod.
So if you've got questions about the security of Trillion, you can ask me and Bar can help. What do you want to know?
So this is probably something I should have asked you, Simon, first, but what are the specific concerns that I need to raise? Is it about the defense against an army?
You weren't told.
Okay. That's good to know. Then I have probably been able to cook up something myself. So she will begin with, well, why don't we start with the princess that you mentioned? I believe that is something of note that, of course, the Empress is not aware of. Can you tell me more about her and why she has come here?
Yeah, I can do that. Hopefully, you'll know something about her. Her name's Princess Mayanara. Ring any bells?
It is a name familiar to me, distantly.
Well, she's what you might call fucking dangerous. And she's coming here.
Truly. And what makes her so dangerous? Does she have an army at her beck and call?
No. But sometimes she's got 6 arms like a Stravi, with blades coming out of them, just like them. And
Stravi?
Yeah. Like the Stravi, but she's human, blue glowing eyes. Now this might interest you. In fact, I'd like some answers. It turns out that running around in the jungle not too far from here, there's a whole bunch of elves from the Raressian army. Why is that?
She looks around the table. Is everyone paying very close attention to her answers here, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So she'll smile and say, well, that is one of my concerns as well, but I'm afraid that in the capital I've only heard rumors of these these soldiers. Have you been able to uncover who they are, or
They were
anything
a
about
bit
the numbers?
coy.
The princess killed them all.
She's killed them all.
And yeah, she killed them. Well, she killed a few. I dropped some in the sea by mistake. I meant for them to come onto the boat, but I hit the rope in the wrong place.
I see.
I
looks
think
confused.
that would be more confusing than.
Look, it seems to me that if there's a whole bunch of Russian soldiers walking around in my jungle, there ought to be a good reason for it. They didn't want to tell me, and at the time I had other concerns. Perhaps you can tell me,
You've spoken with them.
briefly.
To my knowledge, they are traitors. That is why I don't know more about them, but I am very interested in learning more. It is their presence that I hope you are prepared to defend against if need be.
Traitors, you say?
While you may not,
I missed that, Matt.
while you may not know the answer, what are the rumors around the capital? Whom these deserters may be going to?
So I assume that the question was about who they're after. She will think for a moment and look around, and she says, the word that I've heard is that they are after one Lady Manola.
Turns out, Lady Manola is done for him, because Lady Manola is this Princess Mayanara.
I see. So they are after the princess as well.
But the princess killed him. Quite brutally.
How can you have a bunch of traitors anyway? I was there when your empress got the throne, and anyone who wasn't totally loyal had their throats slit.
Indeed.
So how does an entire company of soldiers manage to avoid that?
It is a large country. We shall think for a moment. Sorry, go ahead.
Where did they come from, these traitors? Which part of the country?
DM, am I aware of that information?
You think Almadrones?
Okay.
I've heard of that, haven't I?
Yeah.
Was that the place that Mayanara was coming from?
Almadrones is the old capital. It's the was the centre of
Right, that's
Verosa.
right. And that's where all of the she executed all of her, or the Golden Leaf gang executed all of the current or the previous emperor, correct?
Correct. Although Kevin doesn't know that. But yeah.
Sorry, that wasn't out loud, obviously.
No, that was to the DM. I'm just applying the meta wall.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't even know what you said.
Yeah.
Thinking for a moment and relaying this information about this potentially having been from the old capital, she'll continue and say, Commander Harathe, I have a lot of puzzle pieces here, and I've not been given much more information than this mission to check in with you. I'd like to do more because I'm loyal to my Empress. But for that, I need more information, and I would like to complete the puzzle. So that is in truth why I'm here, to complete this puzzle, hopefully with your help, and ensure that our Empress remains securely on her throne.
That suits me. What do you need?
A place to stay, first and foremost. Have you got such a thing for me? Something secure?
We got secure, yeah. Ain't that fancy, but it's safe.
Good. And I can trust that None of your associates will rifle through my things or anything of the sort.
I'll give them all a hard stare.
We won't. We
Zayar
won't
seems to
rifle.
be like studying the wall carefully. Doesn't
Particularly Alithia.
I'm not going to, but your
Yeah.
soldiers and men might.
You give Aldri a hard stare. He just kind of looks at you in disdain.
That
Just-
would be
she
rude
does dirty
coming
work.
through. Samita's lovely. She plays such beautiful music. Why would I read through her diary?
I ain't saying you would. I'm just making sure you know that you ain't to do it.
I would say that to your men more. They're not polite.
Well, Samita, Raina, whoever you are,
Reyna will do.
you have my word. I will not rifle your things until such time as he gives the nod. And I gesture at Harathia.
She nods in return, and then she'll turn back to Harathia and say, "Now then, what can you tell me about Rogatone, especially? This is one of the largest gaps in my knowledge."
Seems like the Golden Leaf ain't filling you in on this sort of stuff. All right. We were told to check out Rogatone by a messenger from the Golden Leaf, name of Rek. Turns out when we got there, the whole place is just overrun by black mist.
Black mist.
Yeah, corruption.
Sounds
And
dangerous.
The villagers,
It is.
if they were the villagers, they were working on buildings and shit in the middle of the night. Mind control or something. Now, turns out there's a church there, temple, a big crack in the floor, filled with mist. When we first got there, I think that was the only place the mist was. Is that right, Zaymar?
Was the crack was in front of a large altar. We didn't go down at the time because we didn't know what the mist was then. But then something happened. The village started to be controlled by all of. I think there were some in the hoods. It is lost to my memory at the moment. What were they? Were they in hoods? There was some who were controlling, weren't they?
Yep.
Brown robes and hoods, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they looked a bit like monks.
And then suddenly they attacked en masse altogether. Harathia and Rek indeed as well at the same time. He was with us. We escaped to at least I escaped to the roof at the time while the others fought off the horde. And I remember setting fire to the place. But then, as we escaped from the village, I do remember seeing something in the flames looking out at me before I left. And that was some time ago. But when we left the whole Rogatone and then we returned again.
Yeah, never mind that. Let's talk about the first time. So we took out the monks or whatever they were, and the villagers they stopped doing anything, like they didn't have a mind of their own. Now Rek had a mate with him, name of Serene. She basically killed off all the villagers and then stuck a blade through the back of Zaymar. Now, interesting fact, this same Serene is after Princess Mayanaya, your Lady Minola. Coincidence? That's a question, by the way.
It sounds far from it. Quick question to DM: is that name familiar to me, Serene?
No.
In any way? No. Okay.
Damn. That's probably a good
Um,
your point of view.
She will then look around again and kind of address the question to briefly to Zaymar and to Herathea. But she will ask, do you have any reason to suspect any connection to the old emperor?
We weren't even aware of the old emperor at that point. But which connection are you talking about? The connection for the older emperor to the village of Rogerton?
Yes, so I've
There
heard
might be.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, go.
She will just say, among the rumors that I gathered, apparently Rogerton was of enormous significance to the late emperor, and no one was able to tell me why.
Well, it's obviously of interest to the corrupted. Apparently, this sort of thing's happened before, so Rek told us.
And wasn't the emperor corrupted and making all of his family corrupted? They had that library that they were kind of forcing people to become corrupted, and then that's why the poor empress was affected when we found her. So maybe they're in cahoots.
The Empress is fine.
No, we fixed her. But she almost died.
The Empress is fine. I might chime in here. The reason I am with the Golden Leaf Gang is to monitor and explore the impacts of corruption and how it can be dispersed. My thoughts are, as have been shared with you, that potentially the significance stems from what the source of corruption is in this town. We know that corruption can seep from different places, but it is especially linked to some of these older temples. If something happened there, and it was a source that corrupted the entire town, it is little wonder that the Emperor would want a hold of it at that time. Most of the royal family in the capital had been corrupted, and you're right in what you say. There is a sense of a hive mind, if you will. The corruption is led by a figure called Aldri, and I believe from my studies that he is linked to everyone who is connected. He can see them, he can speak to them, and he knows what they are doing, and in turn influences their actions.
Zaymar shifts uncomfortably at the back.
And he makes them do bad stuff. He makes them do, like, when I've come across people who have corruption, it's awful. Like, initially, they're hallucinating, and that's really scary. But then they try and kill and hurt each other and themselves. Like Zaymar threw himself off a building.
Now,
Zaymar's fine as well.
That was just the one time. Look, it's...
Prather's going to hold up his hand because his whole conversation is getting a bit random for him. If it's liking. Yeah. So like I said, temple, big hole in the ground, mist pouring out. We've seen that before. There's one in Lauf right now. And one other place. We've seen it. Now, why is Rogerton important? What's so special about it? I know it's got this fucking crack in the ground. But is that it?
And that is where we'll end the session.
Oh my god.
Turns out, yes, it is.
You're joining us next time then? Yes!
Yeah, so Kevin has kindly offered to play this character until the arc is closed.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
So
I got some rags.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
gonna have to-
good.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to figure out the arch.
we need a proper layout now.
Yeah, I'm gonna like.
Oh, you know what you can do? You can take is it like a zither or a lute? You can take that shape. You can take like a rounded shape like that.
Something that comes out like a sort of a, yeah. I'll have to talk
Yeah.
to. I'll have to talk to you about what shape you want. Yeah.
It's
For
called a
those who are
cocktail.
listening on the stream still, you'll notice that each of the characters has a shape in the stream. So Adalbear has a box, which you may come up at some point. Alithia is a leaf. Rathia is a rather blunt-looking sword, and Zamar is a blade. So we will need to choose a new shape.
Yeah. All right. So this is the time of the evening when we have a Q&A session. So for those of you in chat, please do ask any questions of the players or myself that you have. I have a set of questions as well. And since you're here, Kevin, feel free to ask a question when we get to someone. I don't have any questions
Can we ask
specifically
Kevin
for you.
questions?
Yeah, for sure. So we'll be a bit more improv than we usually are with the questions, but
Awesome.
but
Awesome.
brilliant. Thanks so much, Kevin. That was awesome intro to the
That
character.
was
I think you did
Thank
really
you.
well. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
like
what you
threading a
usual-
needle, you know.
And
I wanted
also-
to get it just right.
Yeah, and also just a quick thanks to Simon, who did it again. He managed to surprise both me and Chris again for about the millionth time with a random
Exactly.
in. Oh, how many times have you done that in your campaigns? And I did not see it coming every single time. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. It's why I was a little bit stressed over the past week. So I apologise for any sort of
It was worth
signs
it.
of it.
Yeah, worth it.
All right, cool. So I'll just open the Q&A stuff. Sorry, Maz, what was that?
Yeah. No. I saw a question from Horathia. How long have you been planning this? Like, God, 2 DMs together. That is like magic and lethality rolled into one.
Kevin, do you want to start with answering that?
Gosh, I mean, it came out pretty early, right? Like when we first started connecting, and it was immediately like, oh, we should do something crossover, because I also, potentially want to get you onto my campaign, and we started talking about that. So it's been, I guess, kind of in the works for a bit, but really to this point, I mean, that's been the past week only, right?
Yeah. So when we first started talking about it, probably a couple of months ago, I guess. And since then, I've been trying to work out what character that would be, and how you'd fit in, and when in the story would be a good time to bring someone in. And we went through a few different characters. This isn't the only option, but I think in the end it was the perfect one. So.
I was meant to be doing a Russian accent, which was so atrocious that you chose a different character, I think.
That's not why, but yeah. We'll see. All right. Question from Pip. This is for all of us. Are you all genuinely keeping your classes a secret? I don't know who wants to start by answering that.
Well, I'll give it a go. I mean, I think essentially we are presenting ourselves to the viewers as we might be viewed. So people tend not to walk around saying, yeah, like I'm a master wizard, all right? So
I mean, I always introduce myself like that.
I wish you would.
But you know what I mean. So people can watch it and work it out as we go along. So it's not that we're hiding things exactly. It's just we're presenting a story and giving you snippets that you can build up as if you were reading a novel or something.
So
If it
from my
helps, we don't actually know for certain each other's classes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So from my perspective, I think what it is, that's definitely true. Like I'm still not entirely sure what everyone is. But I think with these characters, they're all a bit nuanced. There's a little bit more to them. And I think what we really wanted to do was, when you kind of think of, like, for example, a wizard, they're like a weedy little thing, or like a rogue, like, is generally quite shifty. And while someone may have those characters, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're necessarily going to be that. And we wanted to let that go a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
And just be a person or a character.
Kevin, having watched the stream for a bit, what was your thoughts when you first discovered we weren't talking about classes, and how do you think that works for the audience?
I mean, at first it drove me mad because I wanted to know. I mean, if you saw me in the first couple of streams, I was guessing at everyone, like, constantly. But I think it's a really cool concept also because, I mean, it also fits with my own philosophy of the character is so much more than their class. So, keeping it a secret actually allows people to get to know the characters full stop. And you know that they might have certain powers, but it doesn't, define them in the same way that a class might, because then, so I think it's a really cool approach, and it's why I'm not telling anyone my class either.
Yeah, and I think from my point of view, I really like it because every person, the fact that we don't know each other's character classes means that when they do something, like in the previous stream, a couple of streams ago, when we managed to get enough experience points to go up a level, that, like, Adalbert did a Misty Step, which we've never seen him do,
Exactly.
which is like a genuine surprise when that happens, because you've got no idea. And when you know what class somebody is, there's no surprise there. You can sort of predict, and it creeps into your role playing in that you know that they can do certain things, so you start like teamworking where you wouldn't actually know what somebody can do. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, I think, is that it's a puzzle to be unlocked. And I think that we're quite open sometimes with some of the things that we can do, but part of I think the interest is trying to figure that out. And the longer that you're part of the stream, the more clues you get. And maybe somebody collects it somewhere and says, oh, I saw Zaymar, he was on his bonus action, was doing a dash. How many types of character class can do that? So you can piece together a few things, and you can start can you put together everything, So I think it's a good addition. So.
All right, cool. All right, question for Matt from me. Adalbert mentioned that he doesn't know why he's thanking Baha last episode. What did he mean?
In a sense, it's one of those things. If anybody else asked him, he'd say, well, it's because, of course, why should I thank someone for liking me? I'm wonderful. Of course they like me. Isn't it obvious? But I think for Adalbert and Baha, for each other, it's the idea of there was that uncertainty, there was that sense of, am I good enough? Am I, can he see beyond the mask? So there's that, thank you for doing that, which sounds really kind of odd, like, thank you for seeing me. So it's like, I don't know why I'm doing this, it's a really stupid thing to say, but I want you to, I wanted Baha to know that I'd recognise probably the effort he put in, actually putting up with me.
So cute. All right, question for Mads. There's been some serious stuff going on in the last few sessions. Meanwhile, Alithia is a raccoon. Is she enjoying herself?
No. So the whole point that Alithia was a raccoon was because she had been KO'd twice and then had her ankle slashed and then was unable to move in the middle of a forest where there was this deadly creature and was left by the rest of her party. And she had nothing to protect herself and nothing to heal herself with. That was the situation she was in. So she was like, shit, what the hell do I do that gives me a little bit of safety. And for that was wild shape. I think part of it was like initially she went into raccoon because she was feeling terrible, and this was a way of kind of feeling comforted almost.
Mm.
So yeah, but then when the princess came back, like the princess hasn't seen a raccoon. The princess has seen, an elf. So at least this is a way of remaining a little bit safe. And I think at least then, if you ham up the kind of comedy and like being cute or whatever, you're less likely to get killed again. Yeah. So it's not fun. I think once
really,
like the Astravi came, that was better.
I thought it was really great the way that you like went to a raccoon as like your defense mechanism. I just thought that was brilliant. I really thought that was great.
Oh.
All right, question for Mr. Roberts. Horatio decided that he must engage in small talk with the princess. What prompted him to do so?
Well, there were too many things that needed to be asked. So, I mean, the princess didn't seem to think that it was small talk. But for Horatio, who in a funny way is not that curious, that sort of need to ask questions is something that he often doesn't have. But these were, in his mind anyway, to do with security, and he's facing the prospect of this deadly woman coming to the ruined keep, coming to Trillin, his base, and so he was forced to make this small talk, as he thought of it, in order to try and assess the risk and try and extract this guarantee that she not go around killing everyone, which she's more than capable and willing to do.
All right, fair enough. Question from Mr. Harris. It must have been tempting as hell to try and grab the magic items. How did Zamar restrain himself?
So he just didn't want. He was really tempted to go in there and grab the magic items and see what they were, but the problem he was running up against time from the princess arriving, but also time from Alithia arriving. And despite what he wanted, he wasn't necessarily like, when Zamar's in a super dangerous situation, he craves stability, and Alethea represents all sorts of chaos to his plans, and so it's the sort of, he found these 3 poison needles in the chest, and so he was aware of those, and they could have got triggered, but Alethea would just come up, and they'd probably miss her and get Zamar in the process, is what he was thinking. and then this incredibly dangerous woman turns up, and there's a raccoon sitting in the chest, and Zamar's lying unconscious in front of the thing, and it's like, oh look, this guy stole the stuff from your chest, and it's just, he was playing out this horrendous option. So he realized that he just didn't have enough time to do anything, and he's actually kicking himself because he forgot to imprint the keys, which he's got wax for mimicking keys, and they were sitting right there, and he could have gone in and imprinted them, and he's absolutely kicking himself. Literally the whole last week I was, oh man, should have done that. The restraint was one of necessity of not dying in the face of chaos arriving.
Can I just say, the only reason Alethea was trying to get there was because she knows that Zamar's good at doing locks and things like that, but this is probably going to be quite difficult being a princess, so she wanted to give him the blessing of the gods.
Oh,
That
I
was
know.
the only reason.
I know. The thing is like I want you, as I've said before, as a player, I want you there. But the problem is that Zamar doesn't.
I know, it's so funny.
But I thought that made for brilliant role playing. Like the entire time, it makes for such a good dynamic because normally whatever Zamar wants, Alithia doesn't want, or vice versa. Which is, I thought it was good times. I think it's brilliant. You should ridicule Zamar at every available opportunity.
Oh no!
I think it's brilliant. It's really good.
All right, I have a question for Kevin, but before I ask the question, does anyone else want to step in and ask Kevin a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Kevin a question. How did you come up with this character? What was it inspired by?
Well, I mean, a large part by the world, and I really wanted a character that could blend well with the character. So Simon, helped me a lot with making sure that she fits in properly. As for her mannerisms, I can't say too much yet because inspirations would give away, things about her. So I won't necessarily say that yet. But ask me again next week, maybe. And then
I have another follow-up question as well. I have like something
go for it,
unrelated. But how is it actually playing now rather than DMing?
It's amazing. Nerve-wracking too because you guys are amazing and I really wanted to do a good job. But it's so much fun and it's so nice to come to those moments where I have the impulse to do something a DM would do, and then Simon does it. So I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. This is like the best of both worlds.
I think what makes things really good is when you've got two characters who want two different things, right? And watching you and Chris play off against each other and Alithia interjecting, I was glad Zamar didn't have a lot to say because I was just watching. It was brilliant. Like when you've got two characters, all of the drama and one's trying to win over the other one, and it's fantastic. It's really good. I'm so glad you arrived.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back and watch it again. Actually,
I know it was fantastic. It's really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, a question for Matt. What surprised Adalbert most about Harathia's spat with the princess? That they both seemed to listen to him, or that Harathia wasn't decapitated?
I think because he felt he had a good understanding of what was happening, I don't think he was expecting decapitation. It was to him like a warning shot, like when a cat bites you gently as a way to say, "I'm had enough now." But if they wanted to hurt you, they'd draw blood, and so I think he'd recognized it as that without kind of. That's why he didn't kind of dive into action instead of just kind of, and instead started speaking. So I think what surprised him then was how Harathia could be so daft as not to notice that. He's meant to be a commander. He's meant to kind of understand.
Can I jump in there?
Sure, of course.
Because you assume that he didn't notice it. No, that's far from the point. He absolutely noticed it. But there's no way on earth he's just going to stand there, let someone stab him, and say, "Oh, that's all right then." There's going to be some paybacks. There has to be. So, yes, no, he was well aware of what was going on.
Okay,
he doesn't know that. He just thinks you're an idiot.
There's a question in chat from Pip, which is a question for all of you. Have you guys played together as a group before this campaign?
No.
Maz, do you want to start with that?
So this is my first campaign. It's been so much fun. So I was not a complete noob. I've played like a couple of one shots and things like that, like really teeny tiny things. And then I came with these guys, and it has been wonderful. And I've made like the best friends, like the most amazing people. And no, we haven't, but it feels like we have. Not today is my first time. We've been playing for like a year, but this is like
your first campaign,
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it's your first campaign. You
No,
really wouldn't.
Not at all.
Yeah, I know. It's sort of in at the deep end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's great.
I have to say, Pip, that when Maz started playing, it was pretty similar to now. you jumped straight in. It was brilliant. It was so good. Mr. Roberts, do you want to?
Yeah,
Interesting.
because Chris and I have been playing in campaigns with Simon for many years.
Tell us how many.
more than there's several decades. Let's just say.
Yeah, so scary thought. I personally have been playing with him for 35 years, or possibly 36.
Yep.
Chris a little bit less than that, but yeah. So we're a bit, well, we know what to expect. But the great thing about this particular campaign is that he's fashioned it in such a way, Simon that is, that what's going on is not too familiar to us from other campaigns that we've been in. And so we have to forget what our other characters know, which is fine, but it's made far easier by the setting. And I have to say, having Mads and Matt playing in their first campaign means that they're completely fresh, sort of cluttered with preconceptions about how D&D is supposed to work. And as a result, they're just pure role players. It's fantastic.
It is really good.
It's really wonderful.
And just
we've always been role play heavy, but it just makes it fresh and just peps you up as a player who's been playing in the same campaign for 35 years. Which is
I think I'll add a small anecdote instead to my thing. Have we been playing together for a long time? Okay. Obviously, first campaign with Matt and Mads, first time playing with you. On Chaotic Stupid, I want to use your handle. But how did I meet Chris for the very first time? Well, I was role-playing with my own team, blah, blah, blah. And then essentially, Simon said, and then a character walks in and they look like this. And he gestured over and Chris walked in through the door. He'd been sitting in Simon's room for the better part of a day while we were role-playing.
Yes, it's true. I've been on the other side. I've been where Kevin is now.
Which is, and so the fact that you arrived today is just is in the same way is just it's truly it's truly amazing that Simon keeps pulling this off. So
there's a heritage to your appearance here, going back many decades. It's always fun. So Kevin, while we're talking about that, my question for you was, what did you feel before you started playing tonight, and how was it starting to role play with people that you've seen on stream? That must have been quite an interesting experience.
It definitely is, yes, because I think as a viewer, you kind of naturally build up this image, of course, of how the story is building, and you're looking in, and suddenly you're stepping in, and it's, people are suddenly responding to you directly instead of, me posting funny messages in the chat all the time. And so it was, I will say, in the beginning, I was just nervous. I was waiting, because I knew that there would become a moment, but I didn't know the exact moment. So I was just nervous, kind of waiting, because I wanted to, Sumita or Reina, I wanted to portray her the way that I had in my head, and I didn't want that to change right before I started, because then I would be thrown off. But once I got in, it was just a delight, because, it's kind of like, you're performing and you get to kind of just go. Plus, you guys just gave me so much material to work with that, it was awesome to be able to bring her to life exactly the way that I had been envisioning for much of the day, really.
How many notes have you got? How much did he give you?
I have a document. I think it's 6 pages.
Oh my god.
Seven, sorry. And I have my own notes that I took in a meeting with him the other day for another 4 pages of notes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because we spent 2 hours talking about it.
Yeah, it's two dungeon masters who love world building and background and detail. So yeah,
You did a good job memorizing. This is good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Your nerves paid off because it was, like I mentioned earlier, it was the perfect introduction. I thought everything went exactly as I would have hoped. I suppose normally I ask a lot of questions, but I think being a player, it would be too tempting to ask too many questions that would be spoilers, I suppose, that I now need to find out in character. But I definitely would love to know kind of what their thoughts, what the party's thoughts were, at least Harathi's, if possible, when she kind of revealed her slight duplicity, with the name, and because, it wasn't a major moment, but it was still, I think, interesting. I definitely would love to know what the characters were thinking about that. Yeah, Harathia?
Well, and I've mentioned before, he's not that imaginative. So, and basically, he's in charge of a guild of thieves and murderers and pirates and things. So, secret identities, it's a bit passé almost. Yeah, I don't want to put down your
no, that's very fair.
Your big thing or anything, but for a man in Rathia's position, it's it's sort of part of the course almost. So he accepts it, he respects it even, but he's not surprised by it.
Yeah. I think she was kind of counting on that as well, But cool, yeah. And maybe Zamar, because I love that character, so I'm just curious what he thought.
He's a bit of a complex character. So he was slightly annoyed actually, because Zamar was in a different place when he got back to the keep, and off his game, and so the fact that you switched up roles so quickly, he thought, from Zamar's point of view, he was kind of would have kept that a bit secret a bit longer. That was his snooty opinion,
Professional judgment.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, exactly. It was just probably could have held your cards a bit longer there, I think. Leaving him. That was his initial reaction. I know, and I was wondering whether to actually emote that in character, but in the end, he was just too sullen enough in his thoughts to act on it. But yeah, that was.
Adalbert, what was your reaction?
I think kind of building on what Harathia was saying. I mean, Adalbert has his own mask in the more literal sense, but I think he's so used to people playing different roles. It's just part and parcel with the Golden Leaf at this point. It's just okay.
Trust no one.
Scratch out
no
that
one
name.
Is who they say.
Scratch another one.
Yeah.
Right, Matt?
Can I literally didn't notice, as you probably realised. She was like, "Wait, Samita! Samita!" She was way too kind of excited by the fact that this was a possible new friend, and that they played a beautiful instrument, and that she had pretty long hair, and all of this. Yeah, I did have a question for Kevin though.
Yeah, go for it.
But I don't want to. So, Samita, Reina, when she entered the keep, what were her first impressions?
It's hard to say because we kind of established her there, so I didn't role play through it myself. But I would imagine that her impressions probably were somewhat spoilery as well.
If it's a spoiler, just
no. But I think she was definitely intrigued by everything that was going on, and I would imagine that her playing the music the way that she did was also sort of an experiment to see if she could kind of, control the crowd a little bit, see if she could get some attention and bring some order to chaos in a way.
Less spoilery. First impressions of the gang. There you go.
Ooh, I would say Harather is exactly what she expected. So she is actually, I think, in that regard, quite pleased to find, what she was told she would find, because it's someone that she can work with and understands in a way. I think she was very, like, I probably didn't touch on it enough, but she was quite interested in Adalbert, but just kind of, with the sideways glances and just the looks kind of evaluating, especially when she kind of revealed herself, just like, there's something, but not like what it is exactly. Zema, I think she's the most, neutral about, the dagger in the dark. She doesn't know really what to expect yet. And Alethea, I think she is also as expected from, she got some nice words from the Empress, and it's exactly, how it is. So I think the only thing is that she might be still looking for if you're wearing a mask, if this is all a facade. But we'll see if that, because Alethea seems very genuine, so I don't know how long that kind of suspicion can last, but we'll see, I suppose.
Oh wow, amazing.
All right, and as we're getting on for time now, Kevin, do you have any last questions for the other players?
Honestly, I have been racking my brain, but every question that comes up is literally things that I want to know for the game as well.
I know, it's so hard, right?
It's like, can't we just play for another 2 hours and let me ask all the questions?
Well,
but, no, not quite. On the other front, probably will come up during the week though, so I might have some prepared for next week afterwards.
Nice. Right. Well, the same goes for everyone else. If you have any questions for Kevin, just send them to me and I'll add them to my list. All right. In which case we'll wrap up. So next week Kevin will be joining us again to be playing Raina, and we'll see where that goes. It's going to be very interesting. Yes. And we'll be streaming at the same time, 8 p.m. UK time.